like this vibe.
I kind of like it too. Probably not as good as the vibe as KFAN welcoming Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh, Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood.
For 2 amazing shows at Target Center on December 28th at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m.
I got a whole lot of love. Got a whole lot of love.
Tickets are on sale now.
Are you reeling in the years?
Get complete show details, including a link to buy tickets at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Megadeth and Metallica to open. What's the name of this one?
City vibes.
It is kind of got a city vibe to it, doesn't it? Big city vibes. You just heard John Nestor, a defensive back.
It'd be one of those good, 5 questions. You know, the shows that have music in the background while they do their questions. It'd be a good one for that.
All the good shows have a segment where they have music behind it. And I know the Power Trip does, Paul Allen Project, and Bumper to Bumper. They all do that. We don't, because we're not a good show. Maybe if we did that would elevate us to a new level. How about, by the way, something called the 64, some website pandering for clicks. Now, how about this, Tanby? Let's see, how do we get clicks? Let's reach out to egotistical talk show hosts who also have podcasts and tell them, hey, we're going to vote on the very best one. You're going to be put in a 64-team tournament, sort of like the preposterous statement tournament they do at KFAN. Well, what else are you going to get? Well, you're going to get talk show hosts.
Especially the ones with the egos.
One of the egos. Yeah. Larry Moe and Curly Joe, the Three Stooges on the Power Trip Morning Show. Egos are very enormous. The only thing bigger than their egos is my prostate. And my guess, they defeated me in the Sweet 16. Congratulations.
You've got to be kidding me.
I take the high road. I'm a very, I'm not a sore loser. Like to slash the tires on Meat Sauce's car is what I'd like to do, but then he can't get home to Louis. By the way, I've heard that he uses Louis on Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, and what's the other one? Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. He uses his son in order to try to prop up sagging ratings. I mean, think about this. Think about this. He's exploiting his child for ill-gotten gains. He should be embarrassed and ashamed that he would do that. Let me guess. Next, when Louis gets old enough, he'll have him doing a segment on the radio with him.
He has no chance.
Yeah, just I don't even want to be. I'm not part and parcel of that. I want nothing to do with that. I almost want to distance myself from doing comedy with him too. Exploit your child like that. I don't know why you'd do such a thing. Anyway, so I got past my first hey, Karch and Anderson, hey, cool. And then I got past the Pivot Podcast.
The Pivot Podcast.
And of course, what chance did I have against the millions of minions that follow the Power Trip Morning Show? Who just stuffed the ballot box. Let's vote for the Power Trip.
You've got to be kidding
listening
me.
To the two podcasts and going, that Common Man program is very thought-provoked. It's very thoughtless. He's ill-prepared. He's uninformed, unprepared, and unapologetic. But I guess there's a lot of those people who like reliving the 8th grade every day of their life.
Sure.
So they win.
Breast yoga pants.
Yeah. A 24th party. How did the birthday party go on Friday? So, yeah, well, congratulations to them.
Do we know what the result was?
I didn't see. They
don't post those, huh?
No, and and it's like, and there are people that put stock in those kinds of things and actually wanted to win. Like it means anything. That was the last thing I really wasn't even aware of it.
I always love that
until they told me I lost. And I heard the Paul Allen Project. All he does is beat national.
He's a national treasure.
Yeah, well, he's a national treasure. He's also in the Elite Eight. Maybe they're both in the Final Four by now. And then what if the two face each other? My guess is they will. It'll be the Paul Allen Project, 9 to noon against the Power Trip Morning Show.
Who would you vote for?
Who can do more for me? Cove's got a lot of money. That initial game ID he stole from that Kansas City. Do you think the guy in Kansas City is just bitter? I mean, he thinks that the idea has it going. Cove steals it, and then Cove makes millions on it.
I always love that one.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? You know what? I would just, when I was in, I'll never forget this. It was my first grade at L.O. Jacob Elementary, and you would go to the gymnasium / theater. They had a big stage. They had the same thing. They had the stage and the gym. You've seen that in the older schools. They have the stage and the gymnasium in the same room. And when you would go there, they would call out your name and tell you what teacher would be your teacher. And I don't remember the woman's name, but she was a friend of our family's. My mom was friends with this woman. And my mom went up after my name was announced and talked to school officials, and they put me in another class because my mom thought, well, that would be unfair. I don't want, because my boy is his teacher's going to be a family friend, that she might show preferential treatment or give him grades he doesn't deserve. And gosh, I wish I would have been in her class because I could have used some better grades. I think that was really the beginning of the middle of the end for me when it came to my education. A lack of it has not hurt me now, and I can still read the writing on the wall, trust me. But same thing with the Power Trip Morning Show against PA. They're both family to me, right? Extended family, but family. So I can't root for one over the other. I'll just say this. Ask not what the common man can do for you, but what can you do for the common man? But yeah, how about that?
I kind of view it like when you have like a presidential election where you don't like either candidate and you just kind of protest by not voting. That's how I would approach those two.
So you just wouldn't vote at all?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that would be the best way to go about it. But, yeah, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? The Athletic, you familiar with it?
The what?
Online sports page. Sports is your whole life. Just sports writers from all over the country covering all the sports. A lot of guys locally based here. Your Russos, your Alec Lewises, your Johnny Krasinski's, your Gleemans. I don't want to leave anybody out. They all know who they are, right? I like all of their work. They do nice stuff, and they give me plenty of material. They also have their NHL power rankings. Headline: Wild enter the top 5. That's the headline tend to be. There's a couple of different people that there are so many writers for the Athletic that they have like 9 or 10 different power rankings, right, for each sport. This is a duo of Sean Gentile and then Dom. I won't even try to pronounce it.
Who?
This is a guy that, again, they always say buy a vowel. He should just drop a couple of consonants. This is how you spell his name. LUSZCZYSCYN. He's got 3 Z's in his name.
It's a lot of Z's.
Yeah, why don't you just drop one or 2 of them and maybe drop one of the Y's? Shorten it up a little bit.
Just be LZ.
BLZ. Or BLT. Either one. So here's what he says about him in the 5 spot. Last week, they were 20th. Sean's got him at 4. Dom's got him at 5. And all it says is...
Moved up from 20th.
Yeah. Before the season started, Marcus Johansson was a bit of an afterthought for the Wild. That's not the case anymore. As he somehow... They say somehow. They can't even believe it themselves. He has somehow 20 points in 24 games. For a 35-year-old with 1 season scoring over 50, that's really impressive. He's been good, right? Can that continue?
And he's doing it at $800,000. Like he's doing it at the bare minimum.
Astonishing.
And he was the one guy that when they were struggling in October was like kind of keeping them afloat.
Right.
When they weren't getting scoring from elsewhere.
Do you know who Sean McIndoe is?
McIndoe?
Yeah, former tennis player. Said, "Are you serious?" He also does a power rankings, and his says NHL weekend rankings, early off-season lessons plus 3 teams of surprise arcs. He doesn't put the Wild in the top 5, and he explains why. He has them. Does he go down to 6? Let me see. Now he just has his top 5 and bottom 5. So he doesn't really go team by team. But here's what he has in this order, tend to be. He has his top 5 as number 5, the Devils, the Canes at 4, the Stars at 3, the Lightning at 2, the Lanch at number 1. Okay.
Lanch is the easy number 1, yeah.
Right. And here's what he writes about the Wild. He says it's tempting to find a way to sneak the league's hottest team into the top 5, especially after they beat the Lanch. That game was a shootout, so call it a tie if you'd prefer. But even hanging with the unstoppable Avs right now is impressive. Getting 2 points in the process is a statement.
Yeah, they played with them.
Unfortunately, so was a loss to the Sabres, which is what we got on Saturday in the classic letdown.
That was an emotional letdown.
That one was a shootout, too, as the coin flip giveth and taketh away. But if I was looking for cover for leaving the Wild out of this week's top 5, the Sabres proved it. He says the other rankings, he's talking about his pals, kind of taking a little gentle cheap shot, have already seen enough moving the Wild into their 5 spot after the Friday showdown. We move a bit slower on this side of the weekend since we're more focused on the long term. But the Wild have been undeniably impressive lately, digging out from a 3-6-3 start with 7 straight wins and just a single regulation loss since October. And that stretch includes wins over contenders like the Knights, the Kings, the Jets, and now the Avs, so it's hardly been empty calories. It hasn't been enough to cause a major shift in the projections quite yet, with Dom's model still having the Wild around the middle of the pack. And the betting odds, which I don't rely on but can serve as a useful sanity check, haven't caught up yet. In fact, most of them still have the Wild down with the teams like the Habs, Senators, and Ducks.
Yeah.
If you think the Wild are obviously one of the 5 best bets to win the Cup right now, and you're the wagering type, let's just say there's some value to be had.
Value bet.
There's a value bet. Can you play the value bet thing? Is it handy? I can
get to it.
I just love the cash register. I think you lifted the sound effect.
Value bet.
From the Golden Nugget. Value bet. So there you go. So there we go. Wild getting some respect across the league, and well, they should. Well-earned respect. We'll break, come back. A little more. We'll dive back into the Vikings a little bit and talk about a couple of other items as well here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Minnesota, the state of hockey, hosts the World this winter. The 2026 IIHF World Juniors bring the best young talent from across the globe to our backyard. Be part of the celebration. Get your tickets now at mnsportsandevents.org.
I mean, it's like, hello? It's like, hello?
You've got to be kidding me. Huh?
Sorry about that. I'm open for endorsements. That's where I was down talking to the sales staff. Sorry about that. Vikings lose yesterday, 26 meat sauce. It's their first time being the victims of a shutout since a Packer game. How long ago was that now?
2007?
2007. That's still not the most embarrassing shutout. You remember 41 meat sauce? That was an NFC Championship game. That's where John Madden, the legendary John, who, by the way, and I love John as much as the next person. You would have thought he had just passed away, the way every network did this ode to John Madden. That's okay. I have nothing against John. He's one of us. Is he from Austin or what's right next to Austin? One of the two. I can't remember.
Albert Lee?
He was from Austin or Albert Lee? He's from one of them.
Was it Austin or Boston?
Yeah, maybe it was Boston. Could have been Edina or China. But he had the famous where he was comparing the Vikings to an inanimate object. And that was from that game. Tennessee might have that soundbite. Have we ever played this for people before? I don't think we've ever played this. Tennessee stumbled across this. This was during the Vikings' most embarrassing shutout, 41 meat sauce at the hands of the New York Football Giants in the 2000 NFC Championship game.
Sometimes when you practice, you'll set up chairs. And you run through chairs just to show zones and stuff. The Viking defense looks like it's chairs.
The only difference here was the Vikings defense really wasn't chairs yesterday. They played pretty well. It was the offense that was. What would be the offensive equivalent of chairs? I don't know. Statues? I don't know what that comparison would be. But I do know it was.
Well, tackling dummies. Don't they usually set those up?
You set up tackling dummies when you're practicing tackling? The Vikings offense was tackling dummies and blocking sleds is really what they were. Alec Lewis writes for The Athletic. He's very good at his work. And he wrote a piece, and I just cherry-picked a couple of the paragraphs, including this one that says, hope for the 2025 season faded long ago, both externally and internally. Now, the more relevant conversations about the future, given the way this season has played out, what is there to cling to moving forward? This question may seem harsh, but it feels relevant. The team has an aging roster, no certainty at quarterback, and a bevy of impactful decisions to be made by a leadership group whose plan for this season has flopped. Boy, I'll tell you what, that's quite the indictment. But I agree with everything Alec Lewis says there. We don't know if and again, Mark Craig wrote a piece where he was adamantly telling people in capitalized letters, it's 6 games, talking about McCarthy, be patient. And then the comparisons to other quarterbacks who were very bad in their first 6 games, legendary quarterbacks. I think one of them was Peyton Manning and maybe another. And as we brought up then, tend to be the difference between Peyton Manning being drafted in the first round and J.J. McCarthy. I think Manning was considered pretty much can't miss. And he went to a team that I think had won 2 games the season before. McCarthy, no one was convinced. He was the 5th quarterback taken. And he went to a team that had gone 13-4 or 13-4 in the regular season. And 14-3 in the regular season, and ended up going 14-4 with the loss. So then there is a difference there. I mean, again, when you're coming to a team that's loaded, or you think they are, I mean, your window should be wide open, rather than these quarterbacks that went to teams with 1 win or 2. When Stafford was drafted after the Lions 08 season when they went 0-16?
I mean, he was number 1 overall, so it had been, they had lots of options for years that could have been, but.
Can you look and see if that was? I mean, when you go to a team that was 0-16.
He was drafted in 2009.
Yeah. The Lions went in 2008, the Lions went 0-16. How would you expect
It was worth it then.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, how would you expect a quarterback to play on an 0-16 team?
Yeah.
Much like McCarthy was going to a team that was 14-3, 0-16. There's a large difference there. I don't know when Manning was drafted. It was by Colts? No. Yeah, then he went to Denver, right? He was drafted by the Colts. What was their record the season he was drafted? The season before. I don't know, but my guess it was an awful record. And so to me, what you would expect guys to struggle there more than you would for a guy, put Matt Stafford or Peyton Manning on a 14-4 team. one that went 14-3 in the regular season. How much better do you think they would have performed? Alec goes on to write, the Vikings were still in the fight, trailing just 3-0 with 3:41 remaining in the first half. Rather than kick the field goal, O'Connell opted to go for it. Why not run instead of throw? O'Connell said this during his news conference today, and he said it several times. We'd struggled to run it up until that point at the point of attack, so we wanted to see if we could get Max out on the perimeter with a run-pass option. Alec goes on to write, immediately Seahawks edge rusher DeMarcus Lawrence blitzed Brosmer. The 24-year-old QB tried to escape Lawrence's grasp, but at the last second, he heaved the ball underhanded directly to linebacker Ernie Jones IV, not Ernie Jones the first, second, or third, but the fourth, who had a clear path to the end zone 85 yards away. And O'Connell said it during his news conference today, Tennessee, where he said he takes all the blame. He thinks he called the wrong play at the wrong time. And, I mean, I understand the arguments to that. They, because you've run the ball so poorly, the team's probably not expecting you to run the ball. And because you like to pass, that's your reputation, that's what you're probably going to do. But, Tennessee, I don't know. There's only there's two different things you can do. Other than kick, field goal, but if you're going to go for it, you either run or you pass. Yeah. Okay, so those are the two things, and then it's the kind of run you decide to do. You could do a pitch out, which they don't do much anymore. You could do a misdirection. You could do a play action fake and have him drop straight back to pass, roll left or right. I still don't. I mean, I know he's young, but you got nothing. I don't know why he's fallen on a sword so much for that, or do you think it was just the worst call possible?
I think it's just coach speak.
Yeah, I think so too, because I just don't think it's that bad of a call.
And regardless, even if you think the call is horrible, you can't make that throw.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's exactly right.
The call was not worthy of 7 points going the other way.
That's spot on.
Should have been a tie ball game at that point.
That's the exclamation point to the conversation. We'll break. One more segment to go. I'll be here at the beginning of the segment this time. I promise. I think. It's the Common Man program with Tennessee here on The Fan.
KFAN and the Vikings are teaming up for Toys for Tots. Join us live at Shields in Eden Prairie tomorrow, Tuesday, December 2nd from 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. for our annual broadcast presented by Unreal. Bring a toy, spread some joy, and if you're one of the first 50 donors each show, you'll score a sweet KFAN Unreal Winter Beanie. That's KFAN.com/toys for details.
We'll be there noon to 3, of course. It's our show in its entirety. The legendary Mark Rosen will join us just before 2 o'clock. The Common Man program, its listenership has a reputation for giving until they just give and give and give till they're about to give out. So hopefully a lot of you will stop by between noon and 3 and drop off Toys for Tots or purchase something at Shields or cash donation as well. Love to see you as one of the first 50 get that beanie too. Cash in, cash out will be one of our guests, Tennessee, and I think I heard Isaiah Rogers might join us as well.
Might, but it's a very fluid situation. These things can change.
Yeah, it is. It's always fluid. I don't think it's going to be Adam Thielen. That news announced earlier today that he requested his a leave of absence, a permanent leave of absence. He wants to catch on with another team, and the Vikings granted him that request. So he is gone. What was I going to do next? I actually had some. What was it? Oh, boy. Yeah, thank you. I need that. It had more to do with the Vikings game. Oh, no, I know what it was. Someone sent me an email. I haven't figured out the text messaging yet. Well, I'm not going to put my email on my phone. I tried to do that before. I tried to have people here at the radio station help me do it. Nobody could figure it out. So I can't even do it. And then I don't want to jump through hoops, but I'm going to eventually do it but I don't like to rush into things. So I'm going to make it as one of my New Year's resolutions. So I got a month to figure it out, my New Year's resolutions for 2026. Are you a New Year's resolution guy, Tenenbeat?
Not really.
I am. I like to do it. As a matter of fact, I make them and then I periodically check on them. As a matter of fact, I usually do it quarterly. And then I do it with 1 month to go. And I just looked at my New Year's resolutions, and not only have I broken all of those, but I've broken 7 of the 10 commandments as well. Hey-o! But I am checking email. And this one says, I don't get many of them now because most people have probably realized we've just basically abandoned the email. Says, Lions halftime show. What did you think of the halftime show on Thanksgiving? It was pretty cool. Good day. Couple of things. I never watch halftime shows. And 2, I would have skipped this one because I was throwing up at halftime. Honestly, it's like to lose to Green Bay not once but twice. And I think I started the show with this. I might have to apologize to Ben Johnson and everybody else that says coordinators make a difference. Because I thought, sure, they make some difference, but you still got, well, the offensive line is their biggest problem right now. But you still had a pretty good offensive line. Then Ragnow announced he was coming out of retirement. Then he failed the physical. Funny, he failed the physical after the Thanksgiving debacle. I think is what happens when he had second thoughts. He went, I don't think I want to come back and play for that club. And can you blame them? Because they're going nowhere except home at the end of the season. But right after the playoffs started today, the Bears
number 1 seed
and home field advantage throughout the playoffs and a first round bye.
And Detroit would be out.
It's amazing to me how it can change. And
the number 1 seed in the NFC lost to the Vikings earlier in the year.
Yeah. And the team that's outside looking in also lost. Lions lost to them, too. Yeah. And again, look, I didn't like Danny Campbell when they first hired him. When I heard him do the kneecaps thing, I thought, all he needs is a pencil behind his ear. Really? Is this really what we've hired? I just thought he was one of those dopey coaches. But he's done a nice job. He's made the franchise relevant again. He got them to only their second NFC championship game 2 years ago. They'd been in one back in 91. They got to an NFC championship game. They probably should have won. They were up 24-7 at the half. That was their best and maybe only opportunity in my lifetime to get to a big game. Then they were really good last year. Heck, they went 15-2, had home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and then got beat by the Commanders at home. In a really ugly football game for the kiddies. But Dan Campbell likes to go for it on fourth down, right? And people think I just say this. I don't mind that. I've always liked teams that go on it for fourth down. I've said this to you before, Tim, and I think you agreed with me. Let's say my team is Team A, and I'm playing Team B. And Team B's got a 4th and 1 from midfield. They decide to go for it. I don't want them to go for it. I want them to punt because they're probably going to make it. I forget sabermetrics and analytics. I've always felt if you've got 1 yard to go for it, unless you're at your own 10 or 20 or 30.
Unless your quarterback is J.J. McCarthy or Max Brosman.
Right.
But other than that, go for it.
You go for it. And so I don't mind. And they've been wildly successful, but this year they have not. And part of it is if the head coach
their offensive line hasn't been as good.
That's exactly right. If the head coach of the Vikings is going to take the blame for a bad call on the Brosmer interception, which I don't really think there was many other calls. What other call could you make and you wouldn't see disaster other than kneel down or kick a field goal or run the ball? But on one of them, if not two, I think on Green Bay was successful on 3 fourth downs. They went out and I think a lot of teams are just
they're making big plays off of them too. They weren't just trying to get the first down.
And I think I think what teams are doing is they're enjoying giving it back to Danny Campbell because he was getting all sorts of praise and hero worship by the national NFL media for what a gutsy guy he is, and all they do is get us.
Well, it gave a psychological edge to his team, and now teams are taking the psychological edge away from him.
Exactly. So then he's got a 4th and 4, and he hands off to Jahmyr Gibbs and runs him into the middle of the line. It's like, what is... Now, I love Gibbs. I love me some Gibbs. I think he might be... I don't think I'd get many people to agree with me, but I think he's the best back in pro football. And I think
he's in the conversation.
He's in the conversation. He's certainly a top 5 because he's explosive. He can even get tough yards. He can catch out of the backfield, blah, blah, blah. Really good player. The other day, he had 2 games ago, he set the franchise record for yards from scrimmage, like a 264. But with your offensive line beat up, and you know what that is? That's that Dan Campbell mentality that he's brought to Detroit that served them well. We'll win physically. We'll out-physical the other team. So our offensive line is going to push them up. Not on a 4th and, come on, man. Do something different. So I think he was largely. Now, had they made it on 4th and 4 and went on to win the game, would I be singing a different song? Maybe a different key. But I'd still be singing the same song because I, after a while, just you can't do this, man. You're just like, and they're just not as good. Their offensive line isn't very good. They lost him on Ross St. Brown, but every place they just got outplayed, outcoached. Green Bay's, I hate admitting it, that's a really good team. And their quarterback is coming of age. And they're going to be tough to beat. And the Bears, now I don't know if they're doing it with smoke and mirrors because, they weren't very good last year. I mean, they got their coach fired last year. Fired. And people were wondering a lot about Williams that they were about McCarthy. Maybe not that bad, but just wondering, this kid was overrated. He just hangs on to the ball, runs around like a chicken with his head cut off, and it's bad. And now they're the best record in the NFC. But the Lions are, I think their window is shut. I mean, again, because it's like after they signed Hutchinson to the big deal, they asked Campbell in a news conference, and everybody laughed, and he laughed. That was so funny. He goes, "What are you going to do?" He goes, "Well, we're just going to keep spending money until we don't have any left." Well, they don't have any left. And they I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea. I think they had their little window there. It's over. Green Bay and Chicago both seem to continue to be on the upswing, and we know how young the Packers are age-wise. Then somebody else had I know I saved it. I think it was, go ahead.
I was going to say, while you move on, because you originally asked about the halftime show.
Oh, yeah.
It was Jack White. And then the surprise was that Eminem came on for a song in the middle of it.
How'd that go?
Terrific. I mean, I love Eminem, and it's a good song.
Yeah.
But my point I was going to bring up.
You like plain or peanut M&Ms? Because I like plain.
I'm not a peanut.
Yeah, I'm not either. I like peanuts, but I'd rather plain M&Ms. I'm a purist.
But my point was going to be, and you can bring this up next time you see Lil B, even though I think she's out the next 2 Fridays. But when she does return, you've always had the idea of big game halftime show. Let's come out with a surprise performer, right? That nobody knows is coming. And the anticipation and the excitement that would lead up to it. And I think that's a brilliant idea. And her argument always against it was, no, it'd be impossible to keep it secret. And someone would find out. Well, guess what? They kept Eminem's performance secret. Right. And nobody knew Eminem was coming out there
and on
Thanksgiving.
And he's as worldly famous as anybody.
Yeah, it can be done.
It can be done. Here's what Mark Craig writes today in his 5 extra points. His number 1 extra point is, sorry, but this is a general manager issue. He writes, Sunday's 26 meat sauce loss at Seattle, the Vikings' most humiliating defeat since last being shut out 34-0 by Green Bay 18 years ago. And I would say it's still not the most embarrassing shutout. The one was in the NFC Championship game, but isn't just a quarterback issue. It's an overall general manager problem. Sustained success isn't possible when your GM gets lapped by his peers annually in the draft. Throwing $300 million at other teams' aging free agents can't replace building core starters and quality depth among players entering their prime at 3 to 5 years, or generally ages 23 to 26. The Vikings have 4 players on their roster who were drafted 3 to 5 years ago. One from the last year under Rick Spielman in 2021, and 3 from the first 2 years under Kwesi, 2022 and 2023. 2 are regular starters, Darisaw and Addison. Darisaw didn't play Sunday. As for the rest of the NFC North, the Packers have 18 players and 12 starters who they drafted from 2021 to 2023, while the Lions have 13 players and 11 starters, and the Bears have 6 players and 5 players. And then Craig goes on to write, feel free to say, wow. because that's really what it is. That is a huge difference.
Yep.
I mean, that's why they're in the pickle they're in now. Forget what they do with the rest of this season. I mean, obviously, what you really need to see to have even a microcosm of hope for the next year or two is you got to hope McCarthy all of a sudden just boom, something goes off in the next, because it sounds like he'll play this week. He passed the concussion protocol, but he has to practice one full practice. Looks like he will Wednesday. He'll be back in the lineup. And who do we play this week? Washington here. And Washington gave Denver everything they wanted last night, which I didn't see.
They had a 2-point conversion for a chance to win the game.
Yep. But you have to hope a light goes off and something that all starts to come together.
You need him to have a Jesper Valstead type.
Yes.
Remember, Valstead did not have a good year last year in Iowa.
Right.
Looked awful. People were doubting him, and then he's come up. It's like rookie of the year all of a sudden.
I think you need to see that. I also still don't have the answer to the question that I've asked on a number of occasions, because I know everybody wants to pile on Kwesi. Everybody loves O'Connell, I think, because Kevin's, he's got a nice demeanor. He answers all the questions. Sometimes they're rambling questions that you don't really find any answer in it. What do they call that? Word salad? Is that what the kids call it? But, he seems like a bright offensive mind and all that. And then, the players we don't know, but we always hear they love him and like playing for him and everything like that. And so everybody wants to pile on Kwesi. What I still don't know is how much input does the head coach and his rest of his staff, his offensive coordinator, Wes Phillips, and his defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, have in helping with the draft? I just don't see this is one of KOC's favorite phrases. He says it he didn't say it today, but I was looking for it. He said it yesterday. In any way, shape, or form, he likes saying that. Our offense just cannot play like this in any way, shape, or form. In any way, shape, or form, I just don't see a general manager at the draft stunning him by going, with the 23rd pick in the National Football League draft, the Vikings have selected Jordan Addison, wide receiver from where did he play? USC. And then all of a sudden, O'Connell goes, wow, I didn't know we were going after that guy. Hey, who is this guy now?
Well, in fact,
I don't believe any of that.
In fact, the video they showed after that specific draft pick, it seemed like KOC was trying to convince Kwesi this is the right guy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're gonna like him. He's gonna be great for our offense.
Right.
So, there was a video of him basically saying that, paraphrasing.
So I know, and I guess Kwesi, because he is the general manager, I guess he could pull rank and say, sorry, this is who we're taking. Maybe that's happened.
Ultimately, the owner can pull rank.
Well, that's true too. And maybe
that's happened elsewhere.
Yes. And maybe that's what's happened here. But I think, I think it's a consortium. It's several people. There's more than one person making the call on this. One guy has the ultimate. He turns in the pick. We know that. But I still think anybody selected, I don't think they traded up to get McCarthy and O'Connell was against it. I don't believe that in any way.
Now, is it possible, though, I could turn this the other way?
Okay.
Remember in the offseason when there was Aaron Rodgers rumors? The conversations Rodgers was having with the Vikings was with KOC. They never talked about the conversations of him talking to Kwesi, talking to the Wilfs. The conversations were Rodgers with KOC.
Yep.
Is it possible KOC wanted Aaron Rodgers here and others with the Vikings, including Kwesi, said, no, we drafted J.J. McCarthy. We got to see this through.
That could be. That could very well be.
And now he's playing with 7-2 offsuit.
And did anybody in that organization? I'm almost certain I've read there were people in the building, and probably obviously people that didn't have the final say, that wanted to stick with Sam Darnold.
Well, I'm sure there were, yeah. I mean, they offered him a contract.
Yeah, I would have stayed with Darnold. I really would have. And not because I knew McCarthy was going to have maybe the worst 6 games ever in the history of pro football of a first-year quarterback. But I hate looking to the East, but I'm going to. Green Bay, it's well documented. Rodgers waited 3 years on the bench before he took over for 3 years, just sitting there, learning, absorbing. Probably not happy about it. You know how bitter he was when he got selected 24th. He had some comment about he was going to show all the other teams in the NFL the mistake, or San Francisco, the mistake they make. So that's where he wanted to play because he's from the area. And then Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. And then the comeback when you and I had this discussion, a lot of listeners and text messengers and other people and even national media said, well, yeah, but you don't want to take a chance on annoying J.J. McCarthy. You know, he already missed his first season because of the knee injury. You don't want to let him ride for a second. You might make him mad. Sorry, kid. It's big business, man. If you're mad, go play elsewhere. We think we can win, and we think we can win now. That's why we went out and improved the two lines. We were 14-4 last year, and we're coming back with Darnold, or we're getting Aaron Rodgers. Did you see Danny Dimes is going to play with a broken fibula? Did you see that story? He has a broken fibula, and he's going to try to play. Did you see him dropping back in warm-ups? He's dragging. What do you do? You can't. First of all, you can't put a guy like. I think that's like putting Wentz out there. Can't even defend himself. If they put Danny Dimes out, he's going to get himself killed, man.
Well, the backup's Anthony Richardson, and for Danny Dimes, this is like the moment of a lifetime for him, right? I mean, he was thrown, and he's only on a 1-year contract, I believe, with Indianapolis. So he's got a chance to get paid this offseason and become a starter somewhere.
If he's even able to play.
Get to the postseason as a quarterback, you get paid.
Well, even if he's able to play. What if he's, with his inability to move and protect himself in the pocket, he might get himself killed and never play again. I just think it's a mistake. I wouldn't play him. I would never play a guy that he can barely walk, much less play football.
After seeing McCarthy and Brosmer the last couple weeks, I understood why they kept Wentz in with that bum left shoulder. It makes a lot more sense now.
Well, there's that. So there's a lot of blame to be passed around here, I think, Tenneby. I'm just not ready to...
No, I am curious, and obviously we'll have a lot more time to have these conversations as the offseason goes on, but I am curious how you go into another draft letting Kwesi draft. Yeah. And to your point, it's probably not just Kwesi. I'm sure KOC, B-Flow have had a bunch of input, but they can't continue to miss anymore in the draft.
No.
And I know he just got paid last offseason, but...
And then you look at it and say, okay, let's say, what do you think let's say we don't win another game, or let's we squeeze out one. Let's just say we win one, so we finish 5
and 12.
12. We're somewhere in the top 10, right? Probably.
I mean, we're almost at the top 10 right now. I think we're 11 right now, but we're tied with 10th and 9th record-wise.
So let's say we get the 7th pick overall, just for argument's sake.
Sure.
Well, that's going to turn around the franchise, right? I mean, one pick. I mean, it might be a game-changing player. You might get
it's a franchise quarterback.
A franchise quarterback. But if it's just edge rusher, which is great, you got to have them. I'm not saying you don't get them, but it's just one player.
If you get like a Micah Parsons type guy, that can change it around.
I guess. But I don't think. What I'm saying is, I don't think it changes it around where next year, hey, we're back.
But at this point, I don't have confidence in Kwesi identifying the.
Well, that's it.
Micah Parsons type player.
And then I don't think B-Flow's coming back.
I think that's very possible as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of changes.
I think you're probably right. It's a change right now. Changing to the guard. We're out. I enjoyed it. Tenneby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We really enjoyed it. We're back tomorrow, 12 noon, and we're no PJ Flex show tomorrow. That'll
be Wednesday.
Because we do a full 3 hours for the Toys for Tots. So that's tomorrow. All 4 shows are broadcast live from Shields in Eden Prairie. Mark Rosen will join us at 2 o'clock. We're going to have a couple of Vikings with us as well. Thanks for sharing some of your time with us today. Again, back from 12 noon from Toys for Tots to Shields tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Big Ticket JG, they're next. Right here on the van.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.